هذا التسجيل هو عمل تطوعي مقدم من مبادرة بصيرة للأشخاص المكفوفين وضعاف البصر بالتعاون مع المجلس الأعلى لحقوق الأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة. Grade 8 Students Book Module 5 You Can Do It. In this module, we will have several outcomes. We will be able to 1. Predict the meaning of new vocabulary items. 2. Listen to the rules of different sports and games. 3. Talk about the rules in your home using can, can't, and have to, don't have to. 4. Read about the modern and ancient Olympic Games. And 5. Write an argument for or against technology in football. Page 50. Before you start, which sports do you like playing or watching? Do you know the rules of the sports you like? Answer these questions to find out. Sports quiz. 1. Can you play football indoors? 2. Can you kick the ball in basketball? 3. Can you use any metals in a judo competition? 4. Can you hit the ball with your hand in tennis? 5. Can you hit the ball with your head in football? 6. Can you use your feet in hockey? 1. Read about the rules of some games. Do you think these rules will change in the future? Why? Why not? Now let's start reading the passage. The rules of the game. Football and tennis are both very popular sports and people play them all over the world. What are the rules? Are they the same now as they were when people first played these sports? Before 1863, not everyone played football with the same rules. Some people picked the ball up and ran with it. In 1863, there were new rules and these rules are used now. Each team has to have 11 players. You play football on a pitch. One player in each team, the goalkeeper, has to stand in the goal. The goalkeeper can pick the ball up and throw or kick it to the players in their team. The other players have to kick the ball to the other players. You can't touch the ball with your hands. The referee watches the game. He makes sure players follow the rules. People began playing tennis a long time ago. First, they hit the ball with their hand. Then, they used a glove. Finally, they used rackets. You have to play tennis on a court with a net. You have to hit the ball over the net with a racket. You have to hit the ball inside the lines. You can't throw the ball. You have to have an umpire. The umpire decides if a player wins a point. 2. Read the text again, then answer these questions in pairs. A. How do you think players should behave when there is no referee watching the game? B. Find 2 differences between the rules of tennis and the rules of football. C. What are the other rules for playing football? D. Does this article contain mainly facts or opinions? Give 2 examples from the text to support your answer. Grammar. In this module, we'll be talking about can, can't, have to, and don't have to. These are what we call the modal verbs. Over here, we are talking about permission and obligation when it comes to these verbs. Let's start with permission. We often use can to ask for and give permission. For example, can I sit here? Or, you can use my car if you like. Or, can I make a suggestion? We also use can plus not, so can't, in prohibition. So, we use can't to talk about something that is against the rules, particularly when we didn't make the rules. Example 1, you can't use your phone at school. Example 2, you can't take photos in the museum. Example 3, you can't cross the street while the traffic light is green. Now, for the obligation. We use have to express obligation. Have to shows us that the obligation comes from outside the speaker. Example 1, we have to wear a uniform when going to school. Example 2, when do we have to hand in our homework? Example 3, Ahmed has to work tomorrow so he can't come. Now, we also use don't and have when there is no obligation. So, we use don't have to show that there is no obligation. You can do something if you want to, but it's not compulsory. Example 1, you don't have to wear a tie to work. Example 2, I don't have to go to art class. Example 3, you don't have to come with me on Saturday. So, after listening to that, let's go to our book, page 51, and start with the grammar section. Page 51, exercise 1. Have to, don't have to, can, can't. 1. Read the sentences and choose the correct words. Check your answers in the text on page 50. 1. Each football team has to or can't have 11 players. Answer. Each football team has to have 11 players. 2. You can or can't kick the ball in football. Answer. You can kick the ball in football. 3. I am a referee. I have to or don't have to watch the match. Answer. I am a referee. I have to watch the match. 4. Football players have to or can't touch the ball with their hands. Answer. Football players can't touch the ball with their hands. 5. Tennis players have to or don't have to use a racket. Answer. Tennis players have to use a racket. 6. There is an umpire in tennis. He has to or can't decide if a player wins a point. Answer. There is an umpire in tennis. He has to decide if a player wins a point. Exercise 2. Complete the text with the correct forms of can or can't. Ice diving in Antarctica is becoming very popular. You blank do it if you are not a well-trained diver. Once you are in the water, you can see a completely different world. You blank dive with seals and penguins. You blank observe animals from under the surface, or you blank catch a fish while it is in a deep sleep. However, because ice keeps moving, you blank be sure of your final destination. You might end up miles from your original diving spot. Now, let me reread it with the correct answers. Ice diving in Antarctica is becoming very popular. You can do it if you are not a well-trained diver. Once you are in the water, you can see a completely different world. You can dive with seals and penguins. You can observe animals from under the surface, or you can catch a fish while it is in a deep sleep. However, because ice keeps moving, you can't be sure of your final destination. You might end up miles from your original diving spot. Four. Look at the pictures and use the phrases from the box to write school rules using have to, don't have to, and can, can't. Then, write your own sentences using the words in brackets. Now the phrases from the box are 1. Write notes by hand. 2. Study hard. 3. Use mobile phones. 4. Take books out of library. Example 1. Between parentheses, there is the word can't. And there is a picture of a boy reading a book or studying. I chose to use the phrase study hard. So let's use it. You have to study hard. Now, with using the word between parentheses or brackets, can't, we can make the sentence, you can't pass exams without studying. So, see how we use the phrase study hard and the word can't in the same sentence. Now complete the others. 2. There's a picture of a boy using the computer. The verb between parentheses is can. 3. There's a picture of a girl holding lots of books. The phrase that you have to use, or the verb, is don't have to, between parentheses. 4. There's a sign with a mobile phone on it and a cross on it, meaning that you can't use your mobile phone. Now the verb between parentheses is have to. 5. Complete the text with the correct forms of have to, don't have to. Winning isn't everything. If you want to be a truly good sportsman, you blank behave well all the time. This is called being a good sport. The most important thing that all good sports blank remember is respect. Respect for your teammates, for your opponents, and for the referee. Good sports accept that you blank win all the time, and you certainly blank cheat to do so. Good sports never make their teammates or the other team feel bad, and they blank make excuses if they don't do well. Remember that not everyone can be the world's best player, but everyone blank be a good sport. Now let me reread it with the right answers. Winning isn't everything. If you want to be a truly good sportsman, you have to behave well all the time. This is called being a good sport. The most important thing that all good sports have to remember is respect. Respect for your teammates, for your opponents, and for the referee. Good sports accept that you don't have to win all the time, and you certainly don't have to cheat to do so. Good sports never make their teammates or the other team feel bad, and they don't have to make excuses if they don't do well. Remember that not everyone can be the world's best player, but everyone has to be a good sport. Page 54. Reading. Exercise 1. Read about the Olympic Games. Find two differences between the ancient games and the modern games. The Olympic Games. The Olympic Games are a tradition from ancient Greece. They took place in Athens over 2,700 years ago. The modern Olympic Games began in 1896. Many of the sports we see today were at the original games. The modern Olympic Games happen every 4 years, just as they did in ancient Greece. In ancient Greece, winners received a crown of olive leaves to put on their heads. The modern Olympic Games started to give medals: gold, silver, and bronze. In 1908, in ancient Greece, the games lasted 5 days. Now, they last for about 16 days. 4 sports were at the first modern Olympic Games and are still there now. They are athletics, swimming, fencing, and gymnastics. Some sports that were played in the ancient games, like chariot racing, are barely even known nowadays. Some sports like volleyball and basketball were not in the Olympic Games until the 1900s. In 2016, 2 new sports were added: golf and rugby. Some sports such as chess and surfing are not Olympic sports. 2. Read the text about the Olympic Games again and answer the following questions. 1. If you were participating in the Olympic Games and you came second, which medal would you receive? A silver, bronze, or gold medal? 2. What are the similarities between the modern Olympic Games and the ancient Greek Games? 3. Do you think chess and surfing should be Olympic sports? Why? Why not? 4. What sports would you like to see included in the Olympic Games? Explain your choices. Page 55, Vocabulary. Match the beginning and the end of each sentence. Over here, we have 2 columns. Each column is filled with 4 sentences. Match the sentences from column A with the right continuity from column B. Let's start with column A. 1. You have to be flexible and train hard. 2. You have to hit a ball over a high net. 3. Your horse has to be faster than other competitors. 4. You have to fight with a long, thin sword. Column B. 1. In fencing. 2. In gymnastics. 3. In volleyball. 4. In chariot racing. Now match the right sentences from column A with their continuity from column B. Now let me reread the sentences with their continuity. 1. You have to be flexible and train hard in gymnastics. 2. You have to hit a ball over a high net in volleyball. 3. Your horse has to be faster than other competitors in chariot racing. 4. You have to fight with a long, thin sword in fencing. Page 56. Communication workshop. Taking part in a debate. Should technology be introduced into football? Person A. We need technology in football. Too many serious mistakes are made where the best team has victory taken away from them. Person B replied, I don't think so. Technology could ruin football. Referees watch games to make sure players follow the rules. Person A, the reason why I think technology should be introduced is that referees are only human. They need the help of technology so we can get every decision right. Person B, I disagree with you. I don't think technology is necessary because it can be expensive. Also, we would spend too much time watching replays rather than watching the game. Person A, with millions of people watching, we cannot allow errors in football. Person B, whether it is played in a park or in front of 90,000 people, football must be played with the same rules. Besides, talking about the mistakes is part of the fun. 1. Speaking and writing. Exercise 1. In a group, read the conversation again and make a list of the positive and the negative points given concerning technology in football. Then, write down any additional ideas. 2. Reading and writing strategies. Writing strategies, persuasion. First, think of reasons to back up your argument. Example, technology can be expensive. Make sure the reasons are relevant to your argument. Write down some ideas on a piece of paper. Then, present your reasons simply and clearly and support them with evidence. Use words and expressions like because, the reason why, etc. Exercise 3. Following the writing strategies, work in a group to write an argument for or against the use of technology in sports and back it up with reasons and evidence. Use the conversation above as an example. Then, have a debate to present your ideas. Use expressions like, you're right, I see what you mean, etc. and I disagree with you, I don't think so, etc. to agree or disagree with different points. Page 57. Language development. Exercise 1. Complete this passage with have to, don't have to, can, can't, then listen and check your answers. Rules aren't only for games. You, blank, follow rules to drive too. First of all, you have to have a driving license. In some countries, you must also take a test on the highway code. Once you get your license, you, blank, make sure you drive safely. For example, you, blank, stop at an amber light, but you, blank, go through a red light. If you see a green light, you, blank, drive through, but be careful, there might still be people crossing the road. You, blank, go over the speed limit and you have to wear your seat belt at all times. Now let me reread this passage with the right answers. Rules aren't only for games. You have to follow rules to drive too. First of all, you have to have a driving license. In some countries, you must also take a test on the highway code. Once you get your license, you have to make sure you drive safely. For example, you can stop at an amber light, but you can't go through a red light. If you see a green light, you have to drive through, but be careful. There might still be people crossing the road. You can't go over the speed limit, and you have to wear your seatbelt at all times. Exercise 2. Look at the photographs of these sports. What are the rules? Work in pairs. In picture 1, we have a picture of volleyball. Picture 2, we have a picture of table tennis. In picture 3, we have a picture of football. And in picture 4, we have a picture of basketball. Let me give you an example. Person A. In volleyball, you have to hit the ball over a high net using your hands. Person B replied, in table tennis, the ball has to bounce on your side of the table before you hit it. Now complete as the following. Exercise 3. Read Alia's report, then complete the table. The students in our group are 13 years old. There are 6 people in our group. We don't spend much time watching television. We all watch about an hour of television a day. So we all watch about 7 hours of television a week. We all play lots of sports. We play tennis, basketball, volleyball, and table tennis. Some of us enter competitions. We all like sports very much. We also have lots of hobbies. We collect stamps, coins, and badges, and we also do lots of activities for charity. One of us has a pen friend from England. We like reading, playing computer games, singing, and playing musical instruments. Alia. Now complete the table. In the first column, we have number of hours watching TV a week. Column 2, sports. Column 3, hobbies. Now let us learn some vocabulary words in exercise 4. Word number 1. Pitch. A marked out area of ground on which a sport is played. 2. Referee. Someone who makes sure that the rules of a sport are followed. 3. Net. The object that players must hit the ball over in games like volleyball. 4. Judo. A Japanese sport in which you must throw your opponent to the ground. 5. Racket. A specially shaped piece of wood or metal that you use for hitting the ball in games. 6. Umpire. The person who makes sure that the players obey the rules in tennis. 7. Court. An area made for playing games such as tennis. 8. Tennis. A game for 2 people or 2 pairs of people who use a racket to hit a ball over a net.